Today we're making a chia pudding with quince and vanilla. It's really good. Hi guys, welcome back to Bread and Butter, your favorite cooking channel, your never-ending source of food inspiration. Today we're gonna make an absolutely brilliant and exquisite chia pudding. Nothing like you've never tasted anything like this before. So, what makes it so damn special? I'm gonna tell you. Usually, chia seeds are soaked in a kind of nut milk. Now it could be like a dairy milk, it could be an almond, oat milk situation. We're gonna skip that today and make it a bit lighter. And I'm not even talking about calories. It's just gonna taste lighter, but nevertheless very creamy, and it's gonna be sweet, but without any added sugar. And yes, we're gonna be using this incredible thing. It almost looks like a little alien. It's a quince. Now let's talk about it. Have you ever come across this phrase, don't buy me flowers, buy me lanvan? I'm the kind of girl who says, don't buy me flowers, just find me a quince. These guys pop up in stores, usually in autumn, so they're in season from like September up until December, and it is one of the most incredible, most aromatic fruits on the planet. I'm a huge fan. So if you do come across a quince, or like a little family of quince, buy them, and I'm gonna tell you what to do. First of all, they're usually a bit like fluffy and fuzzy on the outside, almost like a peach, but that stuff washes off really, really easily. Like I have this special little brush that I just kind of scrub it, and because it's a very hard fruit, it's like rock solid, it comes off really, really easily to reveal this bright yellow, gorgeous, you can tell I'm obsessed, gorgeous skin. It's usually yellow in color, and try to look for these ones which are just, they don't have any discoloration, any bruising. Look at them, they're absolutely stunning. Now, I don't eat quince raw. I have seen this done. People usually slice them up really, really thin, but I don't like to eat it raw. I like this girl cooked. Now, you can eat a quince in many, many different ways. For example, in the Basque region of Spain and France, they make this incredible like jam, like a marmalade that they serve it with cheese made of quince. I like to bake them, I like to roast them, but today what we're gonna do is we're going to steam and boil a quince. Now what I suggest is let's cut one open, and I'll teach you what to do with it, and we're gonna be using some incredible, if I don't say so myself, life hacks. I always recommend putting like a damp cloth underneath your cutting board so it doesn't move around when you're cutting something. Now, I don't like to peel my quince. The flesh is edible, especially when you cook it. So the thing is, it has a really big, thick core. This is what I do. I put it on the side and I cut like a chunk off. Oh, you see, I'm telling you, it's very sturdy. There we go. Now, to get the maximum flavor out of a quince, we're gonna be using the entire fruit. So this is how it works. I'm gonna take a huge pot, I'm gonna fill it up a little bit with water, put the steam basket on top, and the fruit is arranged here, so the water boils, it steams, the fruit is cooked, we keep all the flavor, all the nutrients, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna take it one step further. Where the water is, we're gonna place the core, because it has a lot of flesh on it, and that will infuse the water, and it's basically gonna become like this compote. Is there such a word? Like a cordial, it's gonna become like a compote. This is the little steam basket. This is the saucepan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the flesh in one bowl and the core in another. But what I do recommend is there's this part of the flesh which I like to kind of clean up a bit. This we can use, and this we can use. I like to get rid of that little fluffy part, but please be careful because it is a very sturdy little fruit. Just be careful with your hands. So this we're gonna throw out. This we're gonna use. And if there's any of the core left in the flesh, just remove it ever so gently. And again, don't throw away any of the scraps. We're boiling this stuff because this is flavor. This is the flesh. I like to keep the pieces nice and big. And in our chia pudding, we're gonna be using all different parts of the quince. We're gonna be using the flesh, the compote, and it's just going to be delicious and so healthy and nutritious. This is basically all we need for our chia pudding, besides the seeds themselves. So I have a bottle here for the liquid which is below. We're gonna call it the compote. It's like this sugar-free, nutritious, delicious, let's call it a juice. I have this little jar. I'm gonna put some of the quince, the fruit itself, inside, and we're going to puree it. And this little container for some of the fruit which we're gonna serve the chia pudding with. Now, the quince by itself is a very, very like aromatic fruit, but it really does like spices and it definitely likes vanilla. So we're going to be using this whole vanilla pod for the puree and for the compote. So we basically have quince in 3 different forms. Just the fruit, steamed, which preserves all of the nutrients and the flavor. We have this puree with some vanilla. It's delicious, and I like to add this to a bowl of Greek yogurt with some granola. This is really good with like some oats in the morning, or you could serve this with cheese and some honey, and it's like on a cheese board. It's delicious, and it's very unique. It kind of smells like a honey apple pear situation. And this, the longer it stays in the fridge and infuses, it will acquire more and more like intense vanilla aroma. This could become a simple syrup for a cocktail. My kids just like to drink this like a compote. But we're gonna combine all of these 3 different forms of quince into one divine chia pudding. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some chia seeds. Now, as always, below in the description, I have all of the details, how many grams of chia seeds you need with how many milliliters of the liquid. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour this compote into the chia seeds. Now, what they tend to do in like the first 5 to 10 minutes is kind of clump up. So we're going to show them some love, give them our undivided attention, and every once in a while, like every minute or so, after the liquid is with the seeds, we're gonna give it a little mixy mix. Just grab a spoon, mix them together, and when you see that everything is more or less homogeneous and the chia seeds will become gelatinous, you can just put this in the fridge and let them sit there for a few hours, and it will become like this thick, rich, delicious paste. And then we're just ready to plate. Okay, so this chia pudding is something that I always have in my fridge when I need like a healthy and nutritious snack. I love it, my kids love it. I think it comes together really easily, and you can play around with the ingredients. If you can't find quince, another really, really yummy alternative is if you steam some apples. Again, you put the core into the water, and sometimes I add some prunes or some dried apricot, and then when you mix them together, it blends into this magical puree. Now, I like to serve my chia pudding with some almond butter or peanut butter, and I love to add a little bit of cinnamon. I love to serve it up in a cup. Isn't that cute? This is done by a really, the illustrations by a really famous artist, and I'm a big fan of this like handmade ceramics. Isn't that cute? Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you tried this recipe and if you liked it, if you loved it. Now, when you eat it, I like to kind of grab a bit of the fruit puree in the bottom and then get some of the chia seeds. Look at that consistency. Quince is quite literally my obsession. If you don't like the texture of chia seeds, you can always blend them. So when they've been sitting in the fridge and they're all gelatinous and homogeneous, blend them with an immersion blender and it will become more smooth. But I actually like these little seeds. The vanilla, the quince, the peanut butter, I can't. It's delicious. I hope you love it.